My name is William Pinkston, William Earl Pinkston. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. About 5 years ago, I was admitted to the hospital. My neck was getting really big. It was from an allergic reaction to a new blood pressure medicine. And well, my neck was getting really, really big. And eventually it cut off the air supply to my body. And the nurse was putting an oxygen mask on my face, and it felt like I was suffocated, and because I was suffocating, and then I had a moment of let's say fight or flight response, a little bit of panic, a little bit of terror. I just fell back real fast, like I just dropped like a sack of potatoes on my back on the hospital bed. And I was in the emergency room when they were waiting for someone to show up to put a tube down my throat. And evidently they didn't show up early enough. And so I was laying there pretty much unconscious, but I could think. My mind was working. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to die now, or it's up to the hands of the hospital whether I die or live. And then the lights went out, and I just boom. And, just a moment of darkness. Then all of a sudden, I found myself floating in this white light realm, spiritual realm, if you will, just floating freely. I didn't have a full body as I have right now. It was just like a spiritual body. I didn't have legs or arms or anything. I just felt I was floating in this white, warm, beautiful love, light of love and acceptance, and it was just amazing. It was just amazing. There's really no words to describe it. I was totally free from any type of feelings of negativity. It didn't exist. Everything was just wonderful. And I thought, oh, this is it. I made it. I thought right then, this is my home. I made it to heaven. I'm here. There was no sense of time. It was like I was right at the entrance of this realm. I was just right inside of it. And it was a white, flowing, warm light. And I could feel the presence, like I said, just love and acceptance. And I just felt like I was home. I was really amazed and dumbfounded, but I was really happy. I remember I was just filled with joy and peace. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up, and it's the next day. Well, the next thing I know, I went back into like a darkness. It was like a void for a short time, and I went to a deep sleep. That's what it felt like. And then the next thing I know, I woke up the next day in the hospital. They had a nurse there the entire time. Evidently, I was out to the next day. And then I woke up, and this nurse is all around me, taking all these hoses and things out, and I had a trach in my throat, tracheotomy, a tube. I couldn't talk very well. The nurse asked me, do you know what happened? And I said, well, not really, not exactly, but I do remember talking to the doctors before, in the hospital, and they said they may have to put a tube down my throat and whatnot, and I remember that, and then of course, not of course, but she asked me, she said, well, do you remember anything? After I woke up, and I told her no, because I was, I guess, embarrassed. I didn't share with her my experience because I thought that she would probably think I was crazy. Well, first of all, the nurse said that I flatlined 3 times, and they had to revive me 3 times with CPR. And she said that, the odds of you making it through something like that wasn't good. She said, basically, you shouldn't be here today. You should be dead, and you're a miracle, and these type of things. And so evidently I flatlined 3 times in a row, and they brought me back 3 times. So I don't remember flatlining 3 times or being resuscitated 3 times. So I think during the time that they were trying to fully resuscitate me, during that whole ordeal was a time that I was in the light, if you will, the white, beautiful light. And it was streaming and flowing in different intensities. It wasn't the same. It wasn't a solid white. It was just like a flowing waves of white light, different intensities. It was very beautiful. And then soon afterwards, one of the nurses, might have been a doctor, a lady doctor, she came in and sat down next to me and said, you're a trooper. You're a trooper. She said, we've never had something like this happen before. And then she showed me a picture of her putting a trach in my throat during the procedure. And she held my hand and stuff. And I told her, thank you. I could just whisper. I just whispered, thank you, like that. And then she started crying and she left the room. Then other people, the doctor I remember seeing the night before came in and he looked at me like I was a ghost. He said, how are you doing? I said, okay, and this and that. And he was just amazed that I was there. And then other people were coming into my room, and my new nurse came up to me and she said, you're the talk of the hospital. She said, the odds of anyone surviving what you went through is just, it's a miracle. It's amazing. And she said, well, you have purpose. You have purpose. And I was just kind of dumbfounded through the whole thing. And, the fact of the matter, I've had a real problem with alcohol my whole life. I've been an alcoholic. They call us alcoholics, whatever. And I was at a treatment center when all this happened. They gave me the medicine. It was a new blood pressure medicine, and that's what caused an allergic reaction. And basically, I died of, they call it anaphylaxis shock, which caused my neck to just get really big, and it cut off my air supply. And they say it's very, very rare that anyone comes back for anything like that, especially in what happened to me, flatlining 3 times. I've had many different supernatural things happen in my life. You can't, things that you cannot explain through the laws of nature. And this was probably, absolutely the biggest thing. I've always had this deep curiosity of why we are here, how we got here, what's my purpose, what's the meaning of life, and that type of thing. And so when I was about 30 years old, I started studying theology, spiritual matters. I'm not religious. I'm just a very spiritual person.
How did that experience? How did it impact your life? Did it change how you lived your life, or did it make any particular impact on your life?
Yes. Well, to this day, that was 5 years ago. I had to retire a year later. What I do, I help others in recovery, addicts and alcoholics in recovery, to help them, to give them hope for a better way of life. I'm a chairperson at my group. I arrange meetings. I talk to people. I consult people that are really troubled. Lots of troubled souls out there, and they use alcohol and drugs to escape from the world, because the world can be a very place of struggle and pain and hurt. And that's what I do today. I no longer work. I work in the field, and I do it all voluntary. I help others in recovery to try to find a better way of life, to have joy, peace, and serenity in their life.
Are you still afraid of death?
Oh, afraid of death?
Yeah.
No, not at all. It's still there. That place is still there. Sometimes I wonder exactly what it was. I've talked to several people. I think it was the beginning or the entrance of what some people may call heaven. You can call it what you will, I guess. I try not to label things too much. It was the entrance to heaven. And I think that if I would have been there longer, and I would have went in further fully into the light, that I would have been taken to a different area, or perhaps there were other soul spirits, if you will, waiting. It was just, I was right there at the entrance, let's say right through the doorway of the new realm of existence. You know, I didn't think about it till after the experience that there was nothing negative there. It was all just peace, serenity, love, and warmth, acceptance.